is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We're doing a tactical video for you guys today. How to deny reserves. How to basically stop people from getting into the places that you don't want them to be into. So we're going to go over 10 tips on how to really better your game at blocking people out coming in from strategic reserves, deep strikes, or within 3 inches. So if you guys are new to the channel, thanks for clicking on the video. There's a lot of tactical guides up on the channel. We're doing a lot more moving it forward in 2024. So if you guys are Patreons, thanks for supporting the channel. Head over to Patreon because there's going to be a lot of specific stuff only coming up on Patreons in 2024 compared to just YouTube. We're going to be giving little tidbits up on YouTube, like this video is going to be starting off in 2024 with some strategies, but also the rest of the strategy is going to be posting on Patreon. So a lot of stuff is coming up in 2024. So appreciate all my Patreons who have been supporting me since we started the channel. Just keep me pushing and keep me going up in 2024. But if you guys are new, we did ranked number one Grey Knight player in 2023. We're pushing to get number one Chaos Space Marine player in the world in 2020 LVO coming up in 2 weeks. So you guys will know if we hit it or not, but we're number 2. So hopefully we can get to that number 1 spot. But today we're going to go over the 10 tips on how to deny reserves. First tip, pretty simple. We're going to go over is ask your opponent what can come in turn 1 or come within 3 inches. It's all about asking your opponent the specific questions you need to know so that way you can prepare throughout the game, especially turn 1 through turn 3, on where they're going to be coming in at. If somebody can come in turn 1, then you should be knowing that if you have turn 1, you should set up to deny them where you want them to be coming in from reserves. If you have turn 2, you know that they're going to be coming in turn 1 because that's most likely going to be their game plan, especially bringing let's say a draw pod or something like that. They can come in turn 1 and kind of break the rules a little bit. Grey Knights specifically have a first to the fray ability where they get to come in turn 1 anywhere on the table, just like Deep Strike. So they have a special rule that they can actually come in within 3 inches as well, just outside 3 inches. So knowing those facts is going to be able to how you deploy turn 1 to stop that. Now, if they don't have any turn 1 deployment, you need to know if they can still come in within 3 inches, come within 9 inches, come within 6 inches, whatever it may be, so that we can kind of plan around it. If they're coming in within 3 inches, you know that you have to kind of keep as many models as you possibly can on the objective, or at least block out 3 inches from the objective so they can't steal it from you, turn 1 or turn 2. So that's the first tip, is make sure you're asking when they can come in, if they can come in turn 1, and if they can come in within that 9 inches from reserves, because all the reserve rules is within 9 inches. If you have Space Marines or anything specific like a Mystic for Grey Knights, they can't come within 12. So knowing stuff like that is definitely going to be key on your army as well as your opponent's army. So tip number 2. Set up always preparing for deep strikes. So no matter what you're doing, you always want to be assuming and preparing that they're going to be coming in via deep strike. Rapid ingress is a prime example of it. When you guys are coming in as rapid ingress, they can come in between your turn, basically. At the end of your movement phase, which is one of the scariest questions in 40k, are you done your movement phase? But they can basically come in rapid ingress as a deep strike at the end of turn 2. So if you're going first and your turn 2 is now over movement phase, they can basically come in at the top of 2 for a rapid ingress, which is kind of insane. So you're always preparing that they're going to be deep striking anywhere on the table. How to really stop it, which we'll get in a little bit later in the video, but how to stop it is you always want to be measuring 9 inches throughout the entire time. It's going to be a little bit of practice that you guys are going to be needing to measure that 9 inches, but eventually become a muscle memory, and you'll start measuring out as you're moving your models to make sure that you're staying 9 inches away from the table edges and making sure that deep strike's not coming within 9 inches. I've played Nolan so many times where he's deep struck in the back of my table edge because I left a little gap for his unit to come down, his 8th bound. Comes down, rapid ingress. I can't really kill him because my cultists are in the back, and then he just basically charges and takes out my backfield. So that's going to be tip number 2, is make sure you're always setting up and preparing for deep strikes 9 inches away. Tip number 3, ask each turn anyone else is in reserves. That's such a simple tip, but it comes up so many times in games. I've known Craig, and he basically, I never remember to tell them like, hey, do you have any more reserves coming in? And all of a sudden turn 2 comes around, or turn 3, and he still has guys off the table. All of a sudden he just walks in his brigands and just blows up my whole army in the backfield. So constantly always asking, especially turn 1, 2, and 3, if they have any more reserves, people coming in from reserves. And that's actually in your command phase or your movement phase. Because before you start moving your models, you have to ask, hey, do you have anybody else in reserves? Do you have anybody else that can get off the board and come back down to reserves? A great example is one of the knights for the big knights. They can actually get picked up at the end of your turn and brought back down, a big-ass knight anywhere on the turn. The Caldus Assassin comes up at the end of the turn, just every single turn gets picked up and brought back down. Grey Knights, great example. They basically just get picked up and brought back down. So the entire game against Grey Knights, it's a killer, but you're always measuring deep strike 9 inches. Normal players, every single time they might have people coming in from reserves, especially Death Guard or Gene Stealer Cult. They basically are going to be coming in from reserves all over the table. So you have to always, in your movement phase, measure out and stop them from coming in within 9 inches or 3 inches sometimes. So that would be tip number 4. Tip number 3. Tip number 4, and again, I wrote all this down for you guys so it's a lot easier. Know the deployment lines. So anytime you're setting up the table, everybody has this deployment line. So we actually measure this out here for you right here. So we have a little deployment line going directly across this table right here. Now it's 30 inches all the way to the corner like this. So 30 inches to the center of the table, all the way to the corner, that's my deployment zone. Knowing reserve rules is going to come in huge in tournaments. So turn 1, you can't come in from reserves in my deployment zone. All right. Same with turn 2. Turn 2, you can't come in from reserves in my deployment zone. My deployment zone would be this little quarter back here. So I cannot come in anywhere on this table edge right here, like this little diagonal. I can come in here, this on the other side of the dice. I can come in here. I can come in this corner. I can come in the top corner. I can come in all the way in this little diagonal over here. I just cannot be set up in the deployment zone on turn 2. Deep strike, a little bit different animal. Animal, you can literally deep strike anywhere. That doesn't stop the deployment zone. But reserves, specifically, reserves, you cannot walk in the enemy's deployment zone on turn 2. There's some special rules that you guys might have where you can actually come in a turn earlier, which sometimes get around that rule. Because if it acts as if it's turn 3, then that's going to break the deployment rule. But if it says come in from reserves as normal, then on turn 2 you can't walk into the deployment zone. So that's key, knowing where the deployment zones are. If you have a deployment zone that's 9 inches from the center, which is only this corner, so in this corner right here, 9 inches, that's my deployment zone. So the reserves can basically come in almost any single table edge without touching this zone. That's the reserves. Now turn 3 is basically you can come in anywhere. You can come in the deployment zone, you can come in any table edge. Back in 9th edition, again, get rid of the 9th edition rules because they're completely different. But back in 9th edition, you couldn't come in the table edge ever. That was a specific rule where you had to pick the table edge. In each mission packet, it has a specific table edge. You couldn't walk in. That's gone. That's no longer in 10th edition. It's now in turn 3, can't come in the deployment zone. And then, turn 2, you can't come in the deployment zone. Turn 3, it's all war. Like you basically walk in any single time. Now you can only walk in outside 9 inches. So if somebody's here, you can only ever come in 9 inches away, unless you have a specific thing where it says you can come in, but most of the time you can't. And you can only come in within 6 inches of the board edge up there. So you can only come in within 6 inches and outside 9 inches of another model. So that would be number 4, is knowing exactly what your deployment setup is and where the deployment zones are. So same with your opponent. If you know your opponent's deployment zone is over there, you can't plan to come in his deployment zone until turn 3 plus. So make sure you remember that. Tip number 5, rapid ingress is fucking scary. So rapid ingress in Nid's Spore Mines, for example, you have to always plan out that they are going to be coming in from rapid ingress. The first question you ask when you are going over the armies, do you have anybody that can deep strike? Do you have anybody that could be coming from reserves a turn early, stuff like that? But rapid ingress, I did a whole video on it, how to rapid ingress like a pro, go check that out. But rapid ingress is one of the best stratagems in all of 10th edition. You basically can come in via deep strike or even reserves at the end of their movement phase on turn 2 or turn 3. If you have something from going off the board into reserves, like bikes, they can come back on turn 4 or 5 from reserves, so you can like rapid ingress them if you really wanted to. But preparing for rapid ingress is huge in defensive for 10th edition. Just assuming where they're going to go. Now, how to really defend against that is going to be spreading out your army, making sure that your whole backfield is kind of blocked out most of the time. And if you want them to be in that top corner, you can then just like kind of leave that available and be like, all right, if you want to rapid ingress, you can either rapid ingress in your corner over there or in the top corner where I picked you to. There's a lot of games with the Kris Cultist build that we've been running for Chaos Space Marines where you can basically block out most of the table by turn 2. So that's going to be in a couple of other tactics going down into number 10. But number 5, rapid ingress. Knit Spore Mines, for example, that's a great example of how to deny rapid ingress or how to deny reserves. So a Spore Mine could be this little guy, for example. This could be a Spore Mine. If you really wanted to stop somebody from rapid ingressing on a table edge, my Kris Cultist most of the time rapid ingress on turn 2. So this Tier Knits player basically just places a Spore Mine right there in the corner. And what they do is they can measure out 9 inches on both sides. And now this 18 inches gap right here, I can't rapid ingress just from one fucking Spore Mine. So placing units like even Nurglings, if they get deep struck on the top of turn 2, you can basically block out a lot of the zone, keeping them 2 inches away and 9 inches away. So that's basically 9 inches that way, 9 inches that way. That's basically a 27-inch gap that they can't deep strike anywhere in this little zone right here, just from a little Nurgling unit. One Spore Mine, for example, great way to stop rapid ingress just from blocking out 18 inches from that table edge. You might have another unit all the way in that corner where those Grey Knights are. They could block out 9 inches from that corner, and this one Spore Mine would block out 18 more inches going this way. So that's a crazy good play to do for the Spore Mine player. All right, guys, so those are the first 5 tips out of 10. The rest of the tips are going to be posted up on patreon.com. We are really trying to grow the Dirtbag Nation, and really to do that is supporting the channel. So if you guys really want to support the channel, it's $1 a month. You get first access to the videos, also free, or not free, but like supported content up on Patreon only. There's live games, battle reports on Mondays that are only posted on patreon.com. You guys get to watch us live, and some special perks you guys get to do over at Patreon. So if you guys are trying to get in the competitive scene, that's competitive coaching over at patreon.com. Definitely message us on Discord if you guys are interested. We actually just had a guy hit us up on Facebook and really wanted to get in the competitive scene. I answered really, really quick with the coaching. He loved that, and then he joined Patreon Grandmaster. So appreciate you guys. So that's going to be the next couple tips up on patreon.com. Now, leave me know in the comments below what you liked, didn't like, how we can improve the channel. If you guys did like these tips and hopefully they help you out, leave it in the comment below as well. But guys, appreciate it, good luck, and we'll see you in another video soon. What's up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are thinking about joining the Patreon page, we're going to go over each tier and how it's going to benefit you and what you're looking for specifically to get out of 40k in 10th edition coming up. There's a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of tactical videos up on the channel, which is for free. There's going to be a bunch of perks that you get specifically for being a part of the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. So first off, we have the first tier, which is $1 a month. You guys get first access to the videos over at patreon.com. You also get access to the Discord, which is specifically a private link in the Discord that only Patreon members can see. So you guys will have first access to that. Also a benefit is Patreons over the Dirtbag Nation get live streamed games on patreon.com streamed from YouTube, but there's only links specifically for the patreons.com. So not only do you get first access to these videos, you also get to see live stream games specifically only on patreon.com. The next tier is the Justicar. You guys get a shout out on every single video on YouTube. You also get to support us a little bit more. You get first dibs at voting on Discord, as well as you just kind of say, hey, I just want to be a Justicar Dirtbag and support you guys a little bit more than that $1 a month here. But you get all the same access as well as the different color over on the Discord. So the third tier is the Competitive Dirtbag. This tier, you get a lot more one-on-one coaching. This is a lot of the Dirtbags over on the Dirtbag Nation. They are able to send out messages one-on-one, go over list ideas, tactics, anything you guys want to talk about. When I was getting into 40K, or really any game in general, I always wanted to message the top players in the meta and just ask them questions. This $10 a month tier gets you that opportunity to message us one-on-one on Discord, so that way we can actually coach you, give you our insights, suggestions, and that's going to get you better at the 40k 10th edition as a whole. So that tier alone, just $10 a month to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one messages anytime throughout the month, that's going to be a perfect tier for you guys. Even if you're brand new to the game, we go over 1,000 point list, 1,500 point list, 2,000 point brand new starting list, team list, anything you guys need. That's what the competitive dirtbag tier is for. Also, you get a little bit red number name tag on Discord, so people know that you're really serious about getting into the competitive scene. The Grandmaster Dirtbags. This is the all-in-all $25 a month tier. You get one-on-one coaching, everything we said prior to this, but you guys get to see me, Mike, any of the other dirtbags play your specific list that you want to see tested out live on one of our battle reports. You guys get to mention, suggest videos you guys want to see coming up on patreon.com. So you guys get the above first tier benefit of everything that we do over at Dirtbag Nation. All the support mainly comes from you guys supporting us over here at Dirtbag Nation. And Grandmasters, I can't thank you enough, but for $25 a month, you get one-on-one coaching and anything you want to see live on the tabletop. So you get to see a professional play right in front of you. You guys get to kind of like see it one-on-one, and I'm actually making this specifically for you. There's also TTS events that you guys can suggest. If you guys want to do a first 1 or 2 turn run through on TTS, we can actually log in and coach you one-on-one with that. If you guys see us at any GTs, you guys get special benefits, free dice, stuff like that. Anytime you purchase a merch thing on Discord, you guys get a free limited edition Dirtbag dice sent to you with every single purchase on top of that. So there's a lot of benefits coming up with the Grandmaster Dirtbag. You guys, I can't thank you enough for supporting us. Definitely let me know which tier would be best for you if you go over to patreon.com and specifically go to a tier. And make sure you don't forget to message me up on Discord. That's where we check every single day. If you guys are really into getting into 10th edition 40k, head over to Patreon, join the Competitive Dirtbag or the Grandmaster. Message me as many times as you possibly want, and I'll coach you the best I possibly can on any specific army that you guys play. Mainly our armies right now, currently, going into 2024, is going to be Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Death Guard, and then we have Custodes, Sisters, and I think that's it going into the wings of 2024. But again, any other army that you guys play, we have other coaches lined up for the Dirtbags that are ready to take on that role of the Competitive Dirtbag page. So guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the Dirtbag Nation if you guys are already part of us. And we'll see you in another video soon.